Dubbed as a love letter to the original classic 1984 Ghostbusters movie, Afterlife attempted to capture the magic of the original movie and also bring it all into the 21st century. In order to do this, rather than concentrate on making things look modern and hyper-realistic, they had to concentrate on making sure they didn't. The proton beam was something DNEG started working on early on when they had just begun principal photography. On the camera test day, they had McKenna with the proton pack and in the full Ghostbuster outfit, and they did some tests adding interactive lighting on set. They started with something that was really similar to the 1984 version, including the colours. But after looking at the shot over and over, they agreed that going towards something more advanced was a better choice. So instead of the original big, stronger core beam and the other one overlapping, now there are actually millions of particles that give that final look and extra noise added on top of it. This gave the proton beam a modern look that at its heart still feels like the original. All the ghosts started out as physical puppets built by Arjen Tweeten and his team. They hand-sculpted a very accurate replica of the Terror Dog from the original movie using nearly 300 kilos of clay. They then used this as a mould for the foam latex skin that would cover their animatronic puppet. This puppet they used for close-ups and shots where they didn't have to show its whole body or show it moving excessively. Then the VFX teams 3D scanned the animatronic puppet and modelled their CG dog to look exactly like it. The CG Terror Dog was used in the full body shots and in sequences where it had to run and jump. In order to animate it, they used a bull's behaviour as a reference, but also attempted to mimic the stop-motion animation look of the original movie. Some of the other ghost effects in the movie were almost completely practical, like the miner ghost in the diner, and the scene where Ivo Shandor gets ripped in two. Surprisingly enough, they actually built a puppet of J.K. Simmons, and the entire effect was achieved practically, with the dummy requiring only mild paintwork to hide the pre-ripped seam on the clothing. Afterlife's Gozer was also based on the 1984 version, and even though makeup took 5.5 hours to apply and consisted of various prosthetics, hair work, lenses and a suit, in the end, the dynamics and lighting they had to add to give Gozer a powerful and menacing presence on set meant that a fully digital suit was preferred. So Gozer from the neck down was CGI. This also allowed for a more surreal appearance as the team could lengthen her limbs. And while the team remained faithful to Olivia Wilde's original performance, the composited face was often placed higher in the shot and the legs and arms lengthened. As you can see here, they slightly elongated her waist, arms and legs, and made the body details a bit more translucent, enhancing it all with bursts of energy travelling through her body. But the most rewarding effect in Afterlife was also perhaps the most important, the most complex and the most touching. Harold Ramis, who played Egon Spengler in the original Ghostbusters movie, had sadly passed away 7 years before Afterlife was released. But this love letter to the original movie could not be written without him. So in order to include him in the film, the filmmakers had to rely on CGI. But one of the main problems was that the VFX teams didn't have any data for Harold, no live cast, no body scans, and no possibility of getting them. Because they didn't have any tangible data to start with, they decided that the best approach was to first build a digital Ramis, as he appeared in the 1984 movie. So they did high-res digital scans of the negatives of the original film, and using single frames they built an exact replica of Ramis with a full set of expressions. Then they comped him in a shot of the 1984 movie with Dan Aykroyd as a test to prove that they had a near-perfect base to start from before they began the aging process. Next, using photos the family supplied of Harold in his 60s, and 3D scan data of a similar man in his 70s, they digitally aged their CG Harold asset. The most important aspect was to first build a photoreal digital Harold without any ghost treatment, so that they wouldn't take any shortcuts or miss out any little details that helped give Harold his likeness. On set, Bob Gunton played Egon Spengler, and this gave the animation team a great starting point. But they didn't use any performance capture, so all of the nuances and micro-expressions on Egon's face were thanks to the amazing skills of the animators. Bob's body performance was kept in the final shot, so all that had to be digitally replaced was the face. Afterlife wasn't just a love letter to the original Ghostbusters, it was a swan song, a way of introducing this piece of movie magic to a completely new generation. And a way for us elders to say goodbye.